We are good to go. The recording is on.
Thank you, Rohan. So I would like to thank, first of all, I would like to thank SUG Pune and its members for giving us a chance to present ourselves in all of you. And the people who have joined recently, I would like to congratulate on the eve of Ganesh Chaturthi. I would, pray to God that in all of our lives, and Lord Ganesha enlighten and save us from all the miseries and have a bright future. So I would be starting, and today's topic is Sitecore PowerShell extensions. So Sitecore PowerShell extensions. This presentation is for people who have very basic or no knowledge on Sitecore PowerShell, and it's very vast. So we have a plan to bring on some series about some advanced in future. So a PowerShell, if you know, is a PowerShell is a keyword which has come from the Microsoft and the Windows platform, which is in your machines if you're using Windows version. And this is something you use. People use for other sort of technical domains and other kind of work. So that is something already there since years. So now, on top of that, some people have come with the Sitecore PowerShell extension, which is actually a module. It's an open source module, which is used, for using the Sitecore development accelerator that can actually increase your productivity, and it can actually affect the time it takes for you to deliver a solution or working on some task. So I am Sandeep Bhatia, and I have with me Krishan Kanoria. He is my friend and colleague. We both are working for a same organization since 3 years. So I will be going to the next slide. So this is the agenda for the today's session. We'll be giving an introduction on a Sitecore PowerShell extension. We'll be telling about how we can install this particular module. We will tell you about the PowerShell commands, UI of the PowerShell functions and commandlets, some commandlet terms, and we'll tell you about how you can create your own custom commandlets. We'll tell you about the basic scripts which you can use using PowerShell and using commandlets and functions, which can be a savior for your day-to-day task and save you from doing the repetitive work. So this is me. I think it's already covered by Rohan, so I'll just skip. This is Krishan. This is also covered. Next is like what is SPE? So Sitecore PowerShell extension, this is a full form, and it is built by Adam Nazmanovic, who is a Sitecore MVP, and it has a lot of contributions from Michael West. It was hosted on uh, Sitecore Marketplace. It's open source. Before 9, you have to install it as a Sitecore package, but after 9, when we got the Sitecore 9 version, we were installing the Sitecore with Sitecore, SIF that was under the cover using the PowerShell only. Latestly from 9.3, we got SIA that is also a UI, but in the background also it is leveraging the PowerShell, and under that it is doing all the installations of the Sitecore. It is open source. Access to the Sitecore API, it is there, and it can increase your productivity a lot. So, I mean, 80% of the tasks which I think of in my daily life, being a developer, uh, being a being a developer for a new project, or being a developer for an ongoing project with a lot of data, I think this is my savior, and it can help me a lot. So, I would like to first, gratitude to this development team who have created this, amazing tool. Adam and Michael. They both of them are MVPs and very big names in the Sitecore community, and they have their respective resources of knowledge available. So whenever you think of something, you can go through that. That will try to cover in this particular session. So how we can install, like as I said, like before 9, you have to install it manually. You have to go to the marketplace.sitecore.net in do the Sitecore PowerShell extension search either on the Google or on that particular website. And once that module will be installed, you will get uh, you will get the notification. And when you will come to your Sitecore dashboard, you will see PowerShell IAC. So when I go to the PowerShell IAC, I will have this kind of UI. Under this UI, I will have the top section where I need to write my script. So ISE stands for Integrated Scripting Environment. So like the basic PowerShell we have, which is a Windows PowerShell, Microsoft PowerShell, we have this PowerShell has two things. One is the PowerShell CLI command line interface, and the other one is this ISE. I actually find ISE more intuitive and more friendly to use. Also, it has a more threading, multi-threadings, and other sort of things which you can always check if you want to go deep into that. So when you will install PowerShell, you will have this PowerShell console. This is similar to like your CLI you have on your machine. And then also you would be having, this is your PowerShell console, where also you can write some commands and scripts. So it will always run inside your native of the application which you are trying to run. For example, if I have this particular instance, it will run inside this particular instance. How it works, I will tell you after in the upcoming slides. But for now, I will. So you will get the Sitecore PowerShell console in that particular thing. Meanwhile, it's loading. I'll go to the next slide. So what SPE is capable of, that I think I would request Krishan. He will take over and tell you about like how what SPE is capable of, and he will be going to brief you all about the menu options and what exactly you can get through the SPE. So Krishan, can you please take the screen?
Yeah. Thank you, Sandeep. Hello, everyone. Happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all. So I'm sharing my screen. Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, Krishan, I can see.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
So this slide is saying what SP is capable of. So SP module is a Sitecore development accelerator, which
Right now I
drastically.
can see. Right now I can see your site code.
Okay. Okay. Let me share again. Now you can see.
Yes.
We can
Yes,
see.
Krishan. Yes, Krishan.
Okay, so Sitecore module, SP module is a Sitecore development accelerator, which drastically increase our productivity. And using this SPE command, we can reduce the time of our development. Suppose, let's take an example. Suppose I have some requirement in that I have 100 more than 500 items, and in those items, I need to remove some kind of rendering. Then if I do this kind of work using Sitecore container editor, so this would be manually, this will take very much amount of time. But using Sitecore PowerShell script, I can create a script in 4 to 5 line, and if I run that script, then this will execute all these all my required result in a minute of time. Okay, so apart from this, as Sandeep told, this provides us two things. One is command line interface, and second one is ISE, which is integrated scripting environment. We can use these two items for automating our task. And when we run site SP commandlets and functions, in those commandlets, we run native calls to Sitecore API, and we can manipulating some files. Apart from this, we can get some Sitecore item using those commandlets or these scripts. We can get child item, we can get item using path, their IDs, their language versions, and their item versions. We can do bulk updates. Suppose there is a requirement, I need to change some field data, some field value, and the items are like more than 1,000. So I can, using PowerShell script, I can do that very easily. That I'll show you how we can do that. And apart from this, we can publish Sitecore items. We can delete some items on the basis of some condition. We can provide some query like template ID and other thing. On the basis of these conditions, we can delete those items. So this kind of work we can do very easily using PowerShell scripts. So once we are familiar with the basic commands and commandlets, it is very easy to use to create a new PowerShell scripts. So in this session, our main motive is to familiar with the basic commandlets and the functions and how we can create a lengthy scripts. So this will be we will be covering in this session mainly. So let's move to Sitecore first. So this is my Sitecore instance. Here, as Sandeep showed you, this is a PowerShell console, and in development tools, you can find PowerShell ISE, right? So apart from this, we have some major advantages of using this PSC, like I can create a lot of scripts, a lot of reports using this PowerShell ISE or this PowerShell. As you can see in reporting tool in PowerShell report, I have many reports which are default have been provided. This has been provided by SPE. You can use all these scripts like you can get item with tokens in field. You can get item with template. You can check your broken links, and you can check your items who have been last updated. And apart from this, in media audit, you have some kind of scripts which are media related, like this is media item last updated, and media item with warnings and some training reports. You can run directly from this reporting tool. Apart from this, you can query your data out of this content tree. Suppose there are so many items, and as per the requirement, you need to query some kind of data, but manually you cannot retrieve all those data. So what you need to do, you just need to write your script, 2 or 3 lines of your script, and you can query your data, and you can retrieve that related data from the content tree. Apart from this, you can schedule your task. Suppose you need to unlock some users at the end of the day, and manually you have to run something, or you have to unlock all the authors one by one after your working hours. But using PowerShell script, you can create a script, you can make it as a scheduled task, and this will be run automatically on a selected time, and all the users will be unlocked. So like this way, you can automate your work, and you can reduce your development time. Apart from this, you can write your output in some CSV file. So these all things are just the advantage of using SPE. So in our next slide, now these are the PowerShell commands. We have divided into 2 parts. One is running command, and second one will talk about the objects. In running commands, we have get help, get command, get verb, get member. So in Sitecore, we'll see all these commands, their syntaxes. So now I'm going to PowerShell ISE. Here you can see I have, this is a PowerShell console where my result will be shown. And here I'll write my commandlets, functions, variables, and other things. So suppose I write like this, get help. It will ask me my password. Oh, once minute. I can execute this one using this execute button, or I can select this one, and if I'll press Control plus Enter, this will give me some details about this commandlet. Suppose I run this from execute. So now you can see I am very new. Suppose I am very new to this PowerShell. Then if I'll only write get help, then this will give me something about this command. Means this is a Windows PowerShell help system. This displays help about Windows, PowerShell, commandlets, and concepts. This say there is some long description is there. Apart from this, you can run all these commands like update help online. So this kind of command you can also run. So basically the thing is that you don't need to go to Google and search anything. Everything you can find out here only. So again, this is a saving your time. Suppose if I'll write get help name. So this is the parameter name. If I write get help name, then get command. If I'll execute this, Control E, or by executing this button, so this will give me the name of this command is get command, and this is the syntax. So syntax is get command. I can provide argument list, object. I can provide verb and string, noun, string. So these are optional parameters I can provide. So like this way, if I am having some, I am having some doubt in any of the commandlets, I can simply provide get help, then parameter name, then my get commandlet name. So here, suppose if I'll write get item, so this will give me syntax about get item. Then I can get the item using path, using some filters. I can include something, exclude something. So like this way, I can use this get help. Apart from this, suppose if I'll provide like full and I'll execute this. So again, this will give me everything about this get item. With the syntax, you will have some information about your parameters, what kind of parameters, their types you can use with this get command. So this is basically, this is very helpful to know about commandlets. And next is get command. And one more thing, so this is case insensitive. You can do write like this get command, or you can uh, write in uppercase. There is no issue. Suppose if I'll run this command and Control plus E. So this will give me everything, each and every commandlets, functions, and aliases which are available in the PowerShell. So you can see these are the aliases, their command type, their name, their version, their sources. Apart from this, you will have all the functions by default which have been provided here. And you have all your commandlets. These are the commandlets. So using this command, you can have a proper knowledge of all available commandlets and functions. So in PowerShell, it's a combination of verb plus noun. Here, get is a verb and command is a noun. So it's a combination of verb and noun. So every time, if we have a proper knowledge of verbs, what are the verbs are available, we can expose here. Then we can create our command as per our requirement. Like suppose if I'll provide name, then get help. If I'll execute this, so this will give me command of this commandlet command. This is a command type, and the name of this commandlet is get help. This is the version name, and this is the source site, Microsoft PowerShell core. So suppose I can provide some switcher here, like these are the switcher. Suppose if I'll provide verbose, so this is kind of switcher here. So this is kind of a on and off. If you are writing some script and you want some result to be displayed or not to be displayed, then you can use this verbose using like this. If I'll execute this, okay, so this is true right now. So like this way you can use these kind of switcher. So only you need to provide these parameters names along with your commandlets, and these are the switchers. So like this way, suppose if I'll say like this, get command, then verb. If I'll run this, so this will give me all the commands which are having verb is get, and all the functions which are having verb is get. So like this way, you can get all the commandlets having get, and you can give your noun here also. Suppose I'll provide like this noun, then item name item. If I'll execute this, then this will give me all aliases and commandlets which are having noun is item, CLI, deserialize item, CLIze item, wrap item, clear, copy, export, and their sources are also available here. So like this way, I can get all the information here only, no need to go to Google. Suppose if I'll provide like this, get command, then parameter name. If I'll execute this, so now I have provided parameter name is computer name. So this will give me all the commands which are having computer. So suppose I need to connect some target computer system. So these are the command I need to use. So for that, I can get all the commandlet using this get command. Suppose like this, you can provide your wild characters, and next is get verb. If I run this command now, I can see all the verbs are available here in PowerShell. So here you can see these are the verbs which we can use. There is no delete verb, only remove verb is there. Our next command is get member. So get member is command provide all the member details of my commandlet. Suppose if I'll write get process, if I run this, this will give me all the process which are running here right now. If I'll provide a pipe and then get member, if I'll execute this, so this will give me the process member details. This is the type name is system diagnostics and process, and you will have all your process name, your kill method and start method, all is present there. So like this way, suppose if I'll see some variable, string type, and here I again write variable, then a pipe separated, then get member. If I'll execute this, so this will give me system type. System type name is system and string, and this will give me all the member type here: clone, compare to, contains, copy, and with. Like this way, I can get member detail of each and every variable, but whether this can be string or int. So this is about the get member, and now we have some objects. We have objects like variables, arrays, and hash table. So, and one more important thing I would like to tell you, like suppose you have done your script, you have created a very long script, and now there is no need to deploy that script in some environment. So there is no DevOps process is there. So directly you can share your script with your team member, and they can directly use in their system, and directly you don't need to propagate this PowerShell script to higher environment. Directly you can run in any environment, and you can get your result. So again, this is very helpful for reducing our development time. So now we'll talk about variables, arrays, and hash table. So for this, I'll go to PowerShell console. Here you can, as we know, variables are building block of each and every language, and here also you can declare your variable like this. Like this way you can define your variable. And because if you are creating any script and you need to define some variables, then you have to declare all the variables like this, so that later you can change, or you want to show your result, then with the help of this variable you can use this in in your script. Suppose if I'll write control $A, this will give me Christian. So like this way you can set your object type. If you don't want to change the data type, then you can write like this. So these are very basic. These things we should have very familiar, so that we can easily write our PowerShell scripts. So this output is again Christian. Suppose if I'll write, I give a pipe, then get member, and if I'll enter this, then again now this is the string type and these are the member detail. Like this way you can define your variables. And this is case insensitive. We can check like this. If I'll provide equality operator here, this is true. So this is case insensitive. Next is array. Array you can define like this. This is the array here, and you can provide anything here. Christian. If I enter this, okay. So this will give me my output like this, Christian and Kanoria. And you can give like this. Okay. So this is about the array. You can cast your array. If you can provide int your array type, and you can give your like this. Your array name is number, and you can provide 1, 2, 3 something. So like this way you can set your data type of this array. So next is a hash table. Hash table is symbol is this one. Suppose here in hash table is a data structure. It's basically like an array, but it's a data structure. Here we store each value or object using a key like this. Suppose if I'll give, if I'll enter, some issue, 1 minute. If I'll write like this, first name equal to Christian. Okay, so this is my output now. This is my name is the key, name is the first name, and value is Christian. Like this way I can write like this. I can get my keys. If I'll provide keys, so my key is first name. So like this way you can use your hash table also here, and you can use some kind of filters. You can order this hash table, so you can make any combination, and you can try and check your results. Okay, so these are about our objects. Now next is, these are the SP commands. Now we'll take one example of these commands so that we can have a basic knowledge of these commands and commandlets, how we can use these commands in our scripts. One is get item, get child item, new, remove, move, and copy item. So for this, suppose I'll open my container editor. This is my test environment. So for get item, I'll go again in PowerShell ISC. I'll write my command get item. And for this, as we know, we have already seen in get help, the syntax of this is get command, get item, then path, then we need to provide path. Suppose if I want to check here also, again, the syntax is what I need to do. I'll just select this, then I'll press Control plus Enter. Then directly some pop-up will come and this will show me get item, their syntaxes and parameters detail, the same thing. So if I am having some problem, if I forgot to use some commands, I can use like this. This will show me what kind of output we need and what kind of input we need to provide, and this is the output. Sitecode data items dot item. Suppose here I'll give path. In my content editor, I have created one folder. So this is SPE. Suppose I'll copy path from here and I'll go there. Suppose I am doing this, I want to do this in master, then I'll give path, then I'll can run this script. Then this will give me my item name, children true, language and version. This is the ID. So like this way, as I told you earlier, we can retrieve some kind of specific data from content editor, and we can, if there is something we need to change in that item, simply we'll click here and we can go directly to that item. Again, we'll change something in that item, some field values, and again we can come to our PowerShell ISC. So like this way, you can get any item, and you can provide this script in so many ways. Like suppose if I'll provide some kind of a query here.
So as Krishan is saying, like get item here also, like if you go to help and see, we can also, I mean like we can also see a property for including the standard fields. So if that property will be true, then all the standard fields as well as the custom fields will, show in the results.
Suppose if I'll provide template name, here I can provide template name and its ID, anything. Suppose if I want to check these template name is title. Okay, this is my query path. And if I'll run this, okay, so this will give me all the items which are having template name is title. So like this way, I can retrieve all my related data and directly I can change anything if I want to change something, right? So this is about the get item. Like this, we have so many syntaxes. You can do you can make any combination. Next is get child item. For child item also, I'll give a path like this, and I can give my path master. Suppose I want to use master database, and here I'll provide the path. 1 minute. If I'll run this script, so this will give me my child item, and here I can, now it is giving only one item. If I want some if I want all the child items which are just beneath this item and the children of this sitemap item, then I have some parameters like records. So this will give me all the child items here. If I run this, so you can see this has given me all the items available. So this is a parameter which will give me all the items. Along with this parameter, I can provide language parameter. If I want all language, then I can provide this one, and versions. I can get any type of version, and I can format this table, my result, for using this format table. Here I can give some property. property like display name. If I want display name and ID, if I'll run this, then this will give me only a display name and ID. Like this, I can provide language versions, so I can change my result as per my requirement. So next is new command. Using new command also, you can create your new item like this. Here, what you need to do, you need to again provide a path, and you need to provide your item type. That would be your template or template name or template ID. Item type, then you can provide your template ID. So this will create your item. In one more thing, you have to provide your name of your item. Suppose you want to create a test item, then you need to give up parameter that is name, that is test, and you need to provide your item type, your template ID. So this will create a new item as per your mentioned path. Next, suppose we'll create a one. This is my template ID. And the path would be, I want to create this item here. I'll give path like this. If I run this script, okay, 1 minute, I refresh it. If I'll copy path again, suppose I'm creating a new item here, I can copy path. My item name would be and I want template ID. Template would be this one. I can provide here. If I run this script, okay, new item, sorry. So now this has been created under this. This is my test. This has been created. Like this, we can remove this item also. There's a remove command, and I can provide path and destination path. And with that, I can provide some parameters like permanently. So this will remove this item permanently. And next is move item. Move item also, you can give your command like this, your path, and your destination would be again your path or ID, your item ID. So like this way, you can move your item in your destination, and you can copy this item. Again, you need to write this command, copy command. Again, you have to provide your path, whichever item you want to copy, and the destination. So like this way, you can create item new, remove item, copy your item. You can use all these commandlets into your scripts. So next is you can publish your item. So this Sitecore PowerShell also provide functionality like a publish commandlet. You can publish your item, you can publish your sub-child item, and you can provide your language and mode of publishing. Suppose I am getting this item. Get item. I'm giving path. Here in pipe, I need to give publish item. So this will publish this item, whatever path I'll give. If I'll give with that publish records, this will publish all the items having just beneath, which are just beneath this parent item. So like this way, you can publish your item, and you can set your target framework, target publish mode. You can set your target, suppose internet, and you can set your publish mode and publish later item. Publish mode would be incremental. So like this way, you can publish your amount item as per your requirement, and you can make this publish command as a scheduled task. So no need to run every time some commands. If you are creating, if content author is creating something, and at the end of the day, if he needs to publish all that product node, then automatically it will publish all this product node at some given time. So like this way, we can create a command and schedule a task. So this is about the publish command. Next is package and serialization. Again, you can create your packages and serialize your item. What you need to do, again, you will do like get path you need to provide. Suppose I am going to my template, and there is a sample. If I'll copy this path, if I'll provide here in a pipe separate, if I'll write serialize, so this will serialize this template. If I want to serialize all the items which are just beneath this sample, then what I need to give, just records. So like this way, I can serialize item. 1 minute. If I run this again, name, okay. So suppose I want to run only this script, then I need to select, then a selection, then this will run only this commandlet. So now it has been created. If I'll check there, and in my app data in serialization, I can see it's been created here, my template sample item. So like this way, you can serialize your item. And for package creation, I have written one script, so I'll show you directly because we have very less time. So for package creation, I need to declare a variable and give a name, my package. And for package creation, I need to give a new package command. And in a source, I'll write like this, get item. Then this would be my item source. And install mode, I can provide, overwrite the merge mode I can provide. And after that, I can add this source to my sources. And after that, there is a export package command. You can export this package as an XML, and you can export as a zip. So like this way, you can export your any packages using PowerShell. So next is schedule task. So there again, as I told you, you can schedule all the scripts, whatever you have done. If you want those scripts to be scheduled at some specific kind of time, suppose you want to remove idle user session at some specific time. So what you need to do, so in systems we have modules. In modules we have PowerShell, then script library. Here you have all your scripts available. Let me show you in this demo page. 1 minute. If I go here, then module, these are the PowerShell, script library, and this is the SPE. So these are the PowerShell commands which are available. And for us, if we install SPE in our Sitecore, so you can see all your PowerShell commands here. Suppose this is the remove idle user session. You can elevate this session. And if you see, here it is mentioned after 30 minutes it will remove idle user sessions. So if you want to run this script at some scheduled time, what you need to do, you just need to go tasks, then schedules. Then here you can create your scheduler, right? So for scheduler, what you need to target in this command, this one. This is the PowerShell script command. This is the default provided by PowerShell ISC, PowerShell. And when you are creating a schedule task, you need to point out this PowerShell script command. Then after that, you just need to give a path of that script. As I showed you, system module, PowerShell script library, SP, I have this, and I can give some time at time interval. So this will be running at some specific time, and we can get our work done. So like this way, you can schedule your task also. So this again will save a lot of time for us. There's no need to go manually and run this script. So like this way, SP comes with some unicorn commandlets also. What you need to do, you just need to install PowerShell and this unicorn 4. So this will give you some unicorn configurations command which are available. Get unicorn configuration, then you can provide your feature foundation, and you can get by filter. After this, you can sync all your feature and foundation using these provided commands. So this is again a very fast process. Directly you need to go to PowerShell IC. You just give your feature and foundation name, and you can run all these scripts. So this feature is also available. I think we'll be covering this feature in our next coming sessions more broadly, as we have very less time today. So now Sandeep, over to you. Sandeep will tell you about custom PowerShell commands and the UI of PowerShell.
Thank you, Krishan. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I hope most of you have find this session fruitful like so far, because in this so far what Krishan has told was the basics, so that you get familiar with the basics of PowerShell, like how you should declare a variable, what all types of variable you can declare, what all the types of objects you can use, and what are the basic Sitecore PowerShell commands. After then, maybe many of you have some question like, if we can do all of these operations what's so been told so far from the UI of the Sitecore, why we need this PowerShell scripting. So first I would like to answer on that thing. This Sitecore PowerShell comes only into the rescue when you have to do a repetitive or a bulk operation. For example, if you want to create a package dynamically daily for some 100 items, then PowerShell is a very savior for you. For example, if you want to update some placeholders for a 500 items, as Krishan told before, then PowerShell comes as a rescue. If you want to search some content within the RTE field, which is in the 500 items, then PowerShell comes to rescue. If you want to move some items in a bulk from one folder to another, then it helps. If you want to add a new language version, then it helps. If you want if you want some version history, then it helps. If you want to create 100 users from reading from a Excel or CSV file, then PowerShell comes into the picture. Instead of going to user manager one by one, you creating a new users, you can just create a script to read the values from a CSV or an Excel file and create the users. Similarly, there are so many instances where it comes into the picture, but the main thing is about repetitive task and bulk things. Then this comes to the picture. Now, Christian has make you aware about the scripting platform, the IAC framework and all that. But you can write those scripts. But let's say you want some human inputs in your particular scripts, and those are like having varying data and other things, or maybe you have some content authors who wants to put some data and they don't understand the scripting. So for that, Sitecore provides Speak UI, right? So using that Speak UI, PowerShell, this SPE is using that Speak UI, and actually it lets you, gives you some intuitive basic UI which you see in your content, in your Sitecore content editor. So as you can see on my presentation, you have the alert option, you have the confirmation option, you have the user inputs. Like for example, you can create one pop-up wherein you can specify some values. So we have this time, but I will just show you one. So for example, here, let's say you have written some script, and in that script, just 1 minute. Okay. Let's say you have written, you're writing some script, and and the user is also viewing that particular script running, and he wants to be sure that there is no error or there is no mistake, and you want to alert them. So what you can do is like this is a one commandlet for that. This is alert message. So this is a command. I mean, if someone is reviewing the progress of the report, the running report, then they can see this message that this is something happening. So if their intervention is required, then they can do. Similarly, I have other. So these all commandlets are available, and you can see either it from the PowerShell sitecode documentation, which we'll share you after this session. So click OK to say whether you want OK or no. So on the further input of this, whether it will be OK or no, then you can do your further operations, whether you want to go further or you want to stop the script there only. So these are some things which comes as a helpful. Similarly, you can have the inputs as well. I'll just show you quickly. This is show input. Please provide 5 characters at most, maximum length 5. So again, this is also a property. Now this is one text box came to me. Let's say if I provide 6, it will give me this error. This is too long. I will just make it 5. By the time I don't know about this PowerShell, what I was giving the client, like I have to create one ASPX application or maybe some web API application, and then using custom commands and all that information, I will deploy my code and write that reporting UI for you, and then you can come and see. But with PowerShell, I have found like I don't need to do all those things. I just should be compatible in my PowerShell knowledge, and I should leverage the UI as well, and then I can give the results without any deployment, and it will actually save my time. So it's not like you have very limited, but you can actually have any complex scenario, and always Sitecore as gives you the option to customize, so you can extend and do the operations. For example, this is oh, it's not working. No worries. I have one more instance. So here you can see like I have these drop down option, so you can create the pop-up according to your choice and whatever your uh, uh, requirement is, and then you can do the things. Similarly, you have different UIs available, and you can create it accordingly. As I said before, like uh, I had one script to upload the CSV files. For that I needed this upload interface, so I got this one, and from therein I can choose any file from the file server and do the operations. So that was also there. So as Krishan also said, like when you install this PowerShell, you go to this module, set system modules, PowerShell. You go to this script library under the SPE. If you go to the reporting, you go to content reports, you go to reports, you go to content audit, media audit. So in media audit, you have like, you can audit the media. Let's say you have been asked to give the media items which have been updated in the last 1 month, or similarly for the content audit. So it's always beneficial if you have got some chance, you come here and review the already out of the box reports, so that if you have something idea, like, it is very near to what you are expecting, then it's always like what you can do is write items with personalized reading. So what you will do, you click on right click, edit with ISC. When you will click on that, it will actually open this particular ISC with that specific script. Okay, and the complete script is there itself. So again, you can do your custom logic, or maybe if you want to enhance this particular script, then you can always do this. And uh, for example, here we are doing query, and out of under the hood, this particular PowerShell uses either the fast query Sitecore API, or it also does reads your indexes, the by default Sitecore master web indexes. So that is the compatibility it gives you. If you have a lot of items and you don't want to go by the Sitecore API, like for example get item, then you can always go by the find item commandlet, which will read actually the indexes, not the database. So that flexibility is also there always for you. So here you can specify like what will be the Sitecore instance you want to select. So they have given a lot of flexibility and extensibility in this particular PowerShell extensions module, and you can actually always leverage this to do the work. After then, I will go to the next. So I have just told you about alert, confirmation, user input, read variable, confirmation choice, whether you want yes, no, no to all. This is something. So now after this, as like from the beginning of this session, we were talking about the functions and commandlets. So what are those? So a function is like normal, like we have a C# function, but in PowerShell, the functions are written in their own native PowerShell language. So and they are integrated into the PowerShell. You can actually register them under the particular script library, and then you can reuse them in your script by using a keyword import function /name. So this is how you can do. So why functions are required? Again, when you are doing some repetitive work, and you should have the functions on the for the ease of showing the clean code, and uh, some other stuff. So for example, I'll just show you. Let's say I need to upload one file with 100 users. I need to create those, and first I need to check whether that particular user exists or not. So every time for every row, I cannot write the same. I don't want to write the same line again and again. Then what I'll do, I'll create this function get user full name. In this, I'm passing one username parameter, and what it is doing is it is checking from this identity module of the Sitecore username, and if username profile full name exists, then it is returning, otherwise it's saying that not available. Okay, so again, how to run this function? So in PowerShell, functions have multiple categories, like either you have the simple functions, then you have the advanced functions. This is a simple function, like it says that cannot find an account. So I can handle this error as well in future if it's required. But let's say I should have at least admin user. Okay, so it gave me the full name of this user. So this is how the functions work. You can always have this particular, you can write. So this is called a basic function. Now, after this, you have something called advanced functions. So what are advanced functions? Advanced functions are like there is a complete there is a very big library available for on the Microsoft PowerShell documentations, where you can see like you have these functions, and then under the function you have these three blocks where the code executes. So begin is something which only calls one time in the context of 100 rows, for let's say if I am importing 100 users. End is also like for a cleanup, and begin is for the instance one time, and the process is something which will call 100 times if you're calling a single function. Now there is one attribute commandlet binding. So if you decorate your function with this particular attribute, it actually works as a commandlet. So now the question is, what is commandlet? So command function, I just told you, like functions are written in the PowerShell language itself. But what are commandlets? Commandlets are written in the .NET language. I mean C# .NET language. They are compiled DLLs. For example, if I'm talking about get user, okay. So get user is also an commandlet. For example, I'll just show you. Okay, I have this SPE DLL available when I install the Sitecore. I go to this particular SPE commands. This is my .peak, and you can use anything, whichever you want to use. So under that, if I go to this particular command, get SPE module, then I can see the code. So for example, similarly, I will be having one .cs file for the get item. So that is again a .NET C# code, which is also doing the same operations which you will be using for writing, for reading through the Sitecore API, or you will be writing the C# code for writing the reading from the fast query or something like that. So this is the flexibility it provides. Commandlets are actually fast. Why they are fast? Because they are written in C# and they're compiled already. But they have some minus point as well. Whichever commandlets are already there for the SPE, they are all already there on the environment on which you will install the PowerShell. But let's say you want to create one custom commandlet. Okay. For example, I don't have a commandlet for, let's say I don't have the commandlet for create user. Okay. For that, I created this particular commandlet. So what I need to do in the C# code, I need to create a class from deriving from the PS commandlet, which is this system.management.automation DLL. And then in that, I am passing three properties: domain name, username, and password. So it means I want to create a user with these three properties params. So I have specified that these are mandatory. So when you will read this documentation, you will get to know like there is so much attributes, these parameter attributes are available, and you can actually decorate them, the properties as well as your class. By that, this command will not run and until or unless you will provide these parameters. And you can also specify the positions of the parameter, whether those are required or not. You can also specify like should they complete some criteria before completion. For example, they should this is more of like a testing we do like for testing also we can create that. Like for example, we have created a test method which is actually fulfilling the result of our operation. Then if I will decorate with that specific attribute, then it will call that particular result as well. So similarly, in the commandlet, we have three sections: begin processing, process record, and end processing. So mainly the begin processing and end processing is for instantiation and cleanup of the data. And in the process record, we actually write our logic. So here I want to create a user. Now, again, I have written this commandlet, custom commandlet one time. And then what I have to do is, I have to register this into my Sitecore instance. For that, I will need to write one patch file under the Sitecore PowerShell commandlets. I am using this. And then I need to deploy this. Again, it is not required if you are using get item, move item, copy item, and there are so many lists available as Krishan showed you before in the start of this session. But if you want some custom logic, then it's helpful for you. Now, why we recommend instead of the basic C#. Now, but for the custom commandlets, they are very fast. If you want to go with this option, then you can always think of it, and you can actually deploy it in your higher environment, and accordingly, you can see the things. So this is commandlet. As I said, like it's a lightweight command that is used in the Windows PowerShell environment. and always like you can write this get help detailed and name of the commandlet to understand. For example, in the basic PowerShell, we have get location, get child item, get help, always there. Now, as I have told you, like it's a PowerShell commandlet is written in the .NET programming language. They are C# and compiled. An advanced function is also written in PowerShell, but that is not compiled. The PowerShell function itself, whether it's advanced or simple, it is written in the PowerShell and not compiled. Again, it's something like you cannot use it globally, but you have to put it in the scripting library and register. Then only you can import in the different instances and use it. So there are some performance benefits for the commandlets rather than the functions, but functions are like they're from a long time and it's very quick to write, and you don't need to deploy. So it's your choice whether you want to use the native API of Sitecore and you want to use the native objects and read so many things inside the Sitecore and do some custom logics. Then you have to go for the commandlet option, custom commandlet option. But if you need to do some operations on a very higher level and from the CMS itself, you think it is feasible, and inside the function, you can use the commandlets which are out of the box. So that is the way to go. So as I said, like before, the commandlet has attributes so that it can identify that Microsoft .NET Framework can identify that it's a verb and noun thing. And that's what I showed you, like we had decorated that particular class with some parameters as well as properties. Similarly, we have some parameters. So parameters are attributes are there. If you want to show some error, they are mandatory or not. So those kind of stuffs are there with these attributes. So we have covered a very basic thing, but anyways, like as you more dig into it, you will get to know more, and you can always find a way for this. So now custom command also I have just showed you. You can create and register it in your Sitecore, and similarly you can register it in the higher environments. You need to deploy the DLL and configuration file. Inside that you can write any logic, any complex thing which you want to do, which you think can be of repetitive and which needs to be run from the PowerShell. So that is something you can do. I think we are done, and these are the references available for the today's session. The first one is the Git book, which is coming from the Sitecore PowerShell extensions. The others are the blogs from the people who have contributed much into the Sitecore PowerShell. Now I'll just make you familiar with this. Okay. So this is a portal, they call it Git book, which is covering, which contains all the information about the Sitecore PowerShell extension. So whenever you would like to start, I would strongly recommend you go through this and make yourself aware. They have a complete appendix for different things which can be used, like for example presentation, security, get layout device, get rendering. You want to add rendering, you want to add data source to a rendering with 100 items, you want to see the indexing thing, with indexes you can do. So they have aggregated this according, I mean they have divided it in different sections and you can always see. Similarly, if you want to work with the items, so you have different get item by path, query, XPath, which is depreciated now I guess. Sitecore API, copying items, moving, creating items, removing items is there. Similarly, you have different, these modules available. For example, library, script, integration points, packaging. In the future, we'll also tell you about the Sitecore remoting PowerShell, by which what you can do is like you can actually connect to a remote Sitecore instance from your local PowerShell instance and do the operations at that point, but from your local Sitecore console only. So that is something also a very advanced topic. You can also invoke the XML, the jQuery code as well. So there, it is very powerful, and day by day it is getting a lot of flexibility and functionality. They have the Slack channel as well, and on Stack Exchange also you can see things. So I think this is pretty much from our side. Any of you have any questions?
Sandeep,
So,
Sandeep,
Yes.
suppose if you want more information about commandlets, so where we can find
more information about commandlets. So as a
Yeah.
Christian would like you in the PowerShell, you need to write get command, which will give you all of the commandlets as well as functions. So from there you can see, and then after if you want to see the commandlet which is from the SPE, then actually I have here decompiled the SPE DLL. Maybe you can use .pig or some LSPy, and then you can
Okay.
see the code for that.
Okay.
Similarly, if it's a native Microsoft PowerShell, then it will be either available in the PowerShell in the C folder or maybe in the GAC. So from there also you can decompile and check.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is
So,
recommended that you don't modify any out of the box commandlet. You always create a new one inheriting the existing one.
so Sandeep, I have one more question, right? So, right now you are using the admin role to, run the script. So, is there any, apart from the admin credential
Yes,
role,
yes, yes,
basically we need to run the PowerShell script because we, we
yes. There is a
cannot
role
share
available.
the,
There is a role available. I'm not sure about the role, but there is a role available. Because
and
on some environments I use PowerShell and I don't have the admin role, but I can still able to access that.
okay.
Yeah.
And is there any option to read from the third-party API and import the data into the Sitecore?
Yes, there is one web API concept, but due to the time limitation, and the basic session we are not covering that. But you can invoke the web APIs from PowerShell as well and read the JSON or XML data.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the
Yeah.
very informative and session.
No problem. Anyone else? Any have question, please?
Yeah, Sandeep Rohan, yeah.
Yes, Rohan.
So, yeah, just I wanted to know, this is a very powerful tool, right? But there is some misconception like whether you can use it on the live environment or you need to use it on your local system or to the QA environment. This is always a debate, right? So, what you suggest when it comes to SP? So, to have it on live
Well,
environment.
ideally, we shouldn't use it on higher environments. I mean, if we are sure that this is the impact it will gonna do, and the confidence the developer has, and that the risk factor involved with the consequences. So then I would recommend they can use on the higher environments. Otherwise, it's always practice like you clone your structure from the higher to your local and then do the operation and take the package or something like that, or use
Okay.
some yeah.
So when we talk about high environment also, we are talking about content management CM server, right?
Yes,
Not the
yes, yes,
theory
yes,
one.
yes, yes. UAT CM and prod CM I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because those can also be impacted, right? It will be, you will run
Right.
the script and you don't know, like if you're not much familiar, like you would end up impacting the data which you were not supposed to impact. So I would suggest like always run on the lower environment, but it really depends on the severity, time severity or other stuff. Then you can go on the higher environments. There also you should take a package backup first and then run this.
Okay. So as you mentioned about the consequences, right? So maybe in case of remove command or something that might be impact or any other modification. So
Yes,
is there a
yes.
way? So in case if I'm not familiar and by mistake if I run any command, is there a way that I can revert it? If you
Yes,
can.
yes. So if it will be if it will be the modification, I mean, if you are controlling the version control thing, then you can always revert to the specific version. Or if you are deleting something, then you can always restore that from the recycle bin if you're not deleting permanently. So these all are the safety steps we can take.
From your web database, you can revert it back.
Yes,
Yeah, using.
those are all
Okay.
basic, like the blunders which one can do manually. The same applies here.
Okay. I was just keen about if I run the script, so like package and
No, no,
anti
no.
package, the way you have in.
No, once the anti package is just like created on this module, but that is just for the package undo of the package. But if you have modified the run the script and the script has modified the content, in the database, then it's something like you cannot just like revert the script and it is not persisting that particular information. So in that scenario, only things which we normally do on the higher environments, like taking a backup of the package, or if deleted, restoring it from the recycle bin, those kind of things we can do, or moving the item from web to master.
Okay. Thanks, Sandeep. So anyone else has a question for Sandeep or Krishna? So I'll just stop the recording and I'll share my screen.